Hello, greetings, beautiful souls. Today is July 17, 2017. This is my first time doing YouTube Live. I am being guided to come on today to talk a little bit about what's going on in the energies and also just to have a little twin soul talk. So anyway, I wanted to share with you that today is a portal 717. I am Sharon Andrea. Thank you for joining me today. I thank you for also subscribing, liking, and sharing my segments. It has been quite a while since I've come on, and like I said, this is my first time. Anyway, what I wanted to share is that today's a very significant day because I know before in the past I've always spoken about 717 and what it means as a portal date. It's a portal date, and what this means is that it's an opening to move even higher in as far as ascension, as far as the ascension is concerned. And it is also facilitating us entering into the Lionsgate portal, which that portal starts or begins, I'd say, around August 7th, which I think that's the lunar eclipse, August 7th. And then we have the solar eclipse, which is on August 21st, I believe. I'm not an astrologer, but I'm just going by whatever I'm hearing. But either way, these energies are facilitating us as far as a lot of things that we are, I would say, crunching down the timelines, because I find myself being in timelines back in Egypt, Japan, also Lemuria. The Atlantean energies is also going on. And do remember that we had just been passing through the summer solstice. So a lot of frequency and codes or downloads are coming through from the central sun, which is a part of the planet Sirius. So that number in and of itself, 717, is a light code that is a part of our DNA with codes that are coming through. I have found myself, which I wanted to talk about, ascension symptoms. A lot of you might be feeling a lot of ascension symptoms. Some of the things that I've experienced, one of the things I want to let you know is that whatever I'm speaking about is based on my own experiences, as well as anyone else that I speak to, that they're also having experiences and trying to understand what is happening to do with their ascension journey. Okay, so I had some headaches that were coming in, migraines, which was around July 4th, I think it was, around that time frame. I've also had eczema that come up on my skin, pulling on my legs, sleeping habits, like even over the weekend, I was sleeping for very long hours and find myself sleeping and then there's times when I can't sleep at all. So these are a part of, what has been happening. One of the things that I wanted to go back to is to basic as far as twin souls. I wanted to do this live video to explain for those, because there are some who are also starting on their journey from the beginning, where they come into contact with their twins, which is where you have someone that mirrors you based on all the patterns and belief systems or wounds or anything that you've experienced in past lifetimes is what your twin reflects and mirrors. I want you to understand that it is a self journey. It is a self journey in and of itself, where anything that does still come up for you to look at, that it is based on what is not only coming up for healing, but also what we're breaking down as far as generational habits and patterns that have been passed on from and through our children, our parents, our grandparents, and our ancestors. So I do find that there are some people that are still stuck as far as how they feel about their twin and where their journey has taken them, because I know so often that there are some who who are in discussion as far as coming into union and what this union means. And the union has to do with the union of the self, the union of you, union of your soul, as well as union with others. Okay. Now, there might be some people that might be out of your energy field, because there's also patterns where karmic relationships is not only, I just saw 444. Karmic relationships is not only people who we may be married to or having a soul relationship with, but also it could be who you work with and who you have contact with on a daily basis, that those relationships might be dismantling as well. I know that, there's so much to talk about, but it's a little bit more difficult for me to talk about things when there isn't anyone interacting with me, but I at least want to cover some basic stuff to be as a more of a reminder to others of what this journey is all about. Everyone is on different levels of ascension, and the ascension is either facilitated by whatever connection you have to your higher self, which is also your next connection to God, the divine. And some of us are on this journey where we are being activated, catalyzed, triggered is another word that's used, with those who reflect back and forth to each and every one of us. And so sometimes some of you may find yourself where someone might say something just off 555. Someone might just come out of anywhere and just start yelling at you about something, and you're like, what is that? Where did that come from? And understand that when stuff like that happens, it may not necessarily mean that that person is consciously aware of where that came from, because that is something that may come up for healing between you and that person, or something that has happened in a past life, and it might be coming up now for healing, and then it may just resolve itself within 24 to 48 hours. So it's very important not to judge at the moment when it's happening, but to more make of an observation of what is happening between you and that person. It could even be something that's occurring with a child as well, where there's things that the soul is holding on to, which is in the cell memory of something that you may have experienced, and it's going to come up. And each time that you are able to move through whatever's occurring when it comes to that, it also brings you into a greater acceleration. Now, the timelines are speeding up quite a bit. So I know that we've gone through so many intervals of healing, and so many intervals of clearing, and so many intervals of things that have triggered us, for almost every full moon and new moon. And now we have the eclipse that's coming up. So the eclipse that's coming up in August, which is also Mercury retrograde, is coming up in August as well. And the eclipse is going to facilitate, especially for those, because everyone is going through different levels, different frequency when it comes to our ascension. And a part of this ascension, when it comes to the eclipse, is what is being pulled out, okay? What is being dismantled, what's breaking down. And one of the main things that's breaking down is a lot of karmic relationships. And so the eclipse is what is pushing that to accelerate even more, like we're in another timeline, and that anything that we've experienced in past lives is now even dismantling even more, so that way we can proceed further into a higher version of ourselves. And basically that's what it means in and of itself. Now, one of the things that I've been wanting to discuss too is that there are some twins who have been, I would say, meeting someone or coming into contact with someone who that is where this is someone that is harmonizing with you, and it's also experiencing a higher state of love. That has happened with me. And it's not everyone that may be on that journey, but the one thing is for sure is that anyone that comes into your space, whether it's to go out with them or to be in some type of relationship, and this time now, it is more likely something that's occurring because it's something that may come up for healing for you, or it might be something that's facilitating to experience a higher state of love. So I wanted to talk about it just a little bit, in some way, because at some point I'm going to be discussing this even further with another twin soul, as far as discussing what it means to have a higher state of love. And at some point, the planet is going to be returning even more to this higher state of love, where we're going to be in love with each other. Okay. And it's something that I would look at as how God would place you in a certain situation, to understand what it means. And even if it's something you're hearing from me, it's, of course, for those who are open to receiving and open to understanding what it means and where it takes us. Because if we only stick to feeling that we're only going to come into a place of love where it may be with one person, it may be with more than one person, but it's to understand the different levels of what this higher state of love means. There may be some who may be ready to understand, and maybe some who may not be, because everyone's journey is at different levels in different ways. Some of us are the first wave of awakening to facilitate for those who are on the path to just starting out to become awakened, and they may be confused and not knowing what it means. And a lot of times people will place their twin flame journey into a relationship box. And if you place it into a relationship box, you can become stuck, and it can become more painful, because if you're at a place where it's still painful for you, and when I say painful for you, meaning that if you are still holding on to a mode of whether or not you hear from your twin, or whatever is coming out of their mouth or what they say or do, that it affects you greatly, it's something for you to look at and what's coming up for healing for you. Because a lot of times, I just saw 1111. A lot of times it may be that there's things that they may say that they don't even know why they said it, because that's a lot of things that I'm hearing from other people that say, this person said this to me and did this to me, and I don't know why they did it, and it affected me, when in all essence, they're not even conscious of what they said. But the spirit is going to bring each person, especially your twin, whether it's a conversation, a text, it could even be something they don't even say, and it affects you. All of that is what you are working on to heal. When you're at a place where you are at, I feel that what they call it is 0 point, or at a place where it doesn't affect you, and you're harmonizing more within yourself, and you're not so focused on what the other one is doing, and also you're not codependent, where you're depending on whether or not you hear from them. You're dependent on where you feel the relationship is taking you, that you have to be with them, that you have to hear from them. And if you're in a codependent stage, where you're allowing them to say anything that they want to you, or do anything that they feel like that is also some form of codependency, because you're not honoring yourself, and you're not stepping into your power, and you're giving away your power by allowing the person to treat you any way that they feel like it. So I didn't want to make this video too long, but I just wanted to just bring in just a little bit of this information to remind each person who hears this or sees this that, like I said, your journey is unique to itself. Not every twin soul is on the same path or the same journey. There are some twins that are working through things being together or living together. And that doesn't mean that they're better than someone who is not physically with their twin. There are some twins that are in no contact at all, and they're still working through the energies energetically between themselves. And there are some twin souls that they meet up and they talk or whatever, and then they separate again. It's like an in and out type of wave. And one way is not better than the other, or someone is more advanced than the other. Even twins that are in physical union, they are still working on things within themselves with healing. We are all accelerating at different levels and different pace, as far as where everything is taking us. And it's going to continue even faster and more throughout the year. There is no set pattern to how it happens, and it's for you to pay attention to the signs, pay attention to the synchronicities that you get, pay attention to your dreams. A lot of times your dreams is going to give you sort of an idea of where your twin soul, I prefer to use the word twin soul, because there's also something about letting go of your attachments to labels and names and placing judgment on them. There's so much things that are breaking down when it comes to the twin flame journey. And that includes the labels that we place on this journey and what we're choosing to let go of, because it's really like a dance. And it's a dance to do with the connection that you have to yourself, and then that connection you have to yourself, to God. Each person that is in contact with every single soul, who it is, whether they're in your life or out of your life, is a part of the process that you are working towards becoming the higher version of yourself. And so every portal that comes through, which includes today, is significant to where it is taking you onto your next level and your next path on this journey. And that means that you're not judging yourself and you're not judging others around you. There may be people or others that are also going to be removed out of your life? And are we paying attention to who we are to let go of in our life? Or are you paying attention to when Spirit is guiding you when it's time to move or it's time to break away? Because if you're not doing it, then at some point, something else is going to come on your path to push you and propel you towards doing that. And sometimes it might become, painful for you, but it's for the best. And I've always referred to my segments, it's like ripping off the Band-Aid, ripping off the Band-Aid and letting go of our fears of the unknown. And I've gone through it myself. I went through like serious depression for 3 weeks, just about 3 weeks. And my template, as far as a twin soul template, is not the same as anyone else. I'm dealing with issues that deal with the government and all these things of what I faced when I was ruling Egypt, and it comes up for me quite a bit. And, everything is speeding up as far as the changes that are happening. And that means that there's breakdowns in our governmental systems, also money, finance, also, jobs. Some of us are holding on tight to the jobs that we have and wanting to feel secure and wanting to feel safe. With that, where all of that is also changing as far as our journeys are concerned. And being on the twin flame journey might accelerate it even faster. And we're working through all of our chakra systems where that is concerned as well. We're also healing sexually as well. All of these things are happening all at the same time, and it's to pay attention to when it is occurring and understanding. And if you don't understand, it's okay to reach out to someone who might be able to help you to understand, because sometimes, yes, you might get information that you'll understand it within yourself, and sometimes you may not, and therefore you might need someone else to help you to see it from a bigger picture. So anyway, I also wanted to state that I do offer twin soul coaching readings. I'm an empathic reader. I also help with understanding your journey on both sides, whether it's a divine feminine or a divine masculine. I also offer, I'm also a medium, so I'm able to connect to anyone who's crossed over to the other side. I also help with those who want to understand any type of healing that they want for themselves. And that means everything, because, we're also working on our emotional healing, things that we're releasing emotionally that we've held on to for a very long time. And then how it facilitates healing with the physical body, because the more we are ascending is the more we're bringing in light codes into our bodies. And that's where the symptoms that come up, like for me, where I have the rashes that break out, and also I get pain in my leg, and then I had a lot of codes that were coming into my third eye and my head right here, and all these things. And it's just a matter of just riding through the entire thing. So if anyone is of need of any type of twin flame coaching or just any type of understanding of their journey, please send me an email at thegardenofeden1111@gmail.com. I offer Skype readings, and if you're not able to do Skype, I also do telephone readings. And if you're in the New York, New Jersey, Connecticut area, I also do in-person readings. So I want to leave at this note, and I send you so much love and so much this day on 7/17. Do know that this number in and of itself is significant as far as the energy of movement of the soul. And because the number 7 is the number of the soul monad. And as we continue to ascend, each person who sees... Okay, I got interrupted. So anyway, I just wanted to say again that the seeing of the number 777 and 717 is all a part of what is happening to do with your soul journey, and to remember to pay attention to the synchronizations that you get, and especially on this day in and of itself, and what it means for you and your twin flame journey. Also the 555s, movement and shifts to do with your level of consciousness and where that is taking you. As we continue to accelerate and move and propel with these codes that are coming in, because it can only come in increments and stages. And depending on how open you are, these codes that come in have to do with the true codes as far as who you are as a divine feminine or divine masculine. Also, these are twin flame codes as far as your template, because remember, the twin souls are here to anchor in the new template of relationships. And that means that all the other relationships that we've had in the past is what is shifting and changing. And that means the codependency, our views on marriages, our views on having children, and letting go of old stuff and belief systems. There's so much belief systems to be released, and it goes in layers and layers and layers. And a lot of times we might think that we have released those layers of beliefs, and then there's more and there's more and there's more. And sometimes whatever is within our soul, that's what mirrors from someone else that comes back to you for you to look at for healing. So that way you're able to move forward, and there's another level of it. And there's no way to tell, there's no ending to this. It's going to be a continuous cycle. And there's even changes with even what we may be eating, and it's to follow your inner guidance. Remember, the key thing is following your inner guidance. And the key thing is that no matter what your journey is, as far as being, if you're a twin or not, is that your twin soul journey has to do with you. It has to do with you implicitly, with where you're taking yourself and how much you're releasing, how much you're letting go, how much you're moving forward when it's time to move forward. Really, truly paying attention to all the signs, honoring your feelings, and really making your own choices and decisions, and not allowing anyone to dictate to you who you should be, where you should be, how you should be, because it is your journey. Really, truly stepping into your power. And sometimes it means that you might be standing up to your parents because they want you to be a certain way. You'd be surprised at how many people at a certain age, 30s, 40s, 50s, that they're so afraid to make changes with their lives because they're afraid of what their parents may say. They're afraid of what someone in society might say. They're afraid of backlash and all these things. And you see, just understand that the universe is supporting you in every single way. I want to tell you about a miracle that happened this week for me when it comes to when you're living a life of truly letting go and not even knowing how it happens. Because when you have that magic within you, there is no formula to it, and there's no way for you to know when and how it's going to happen. But if it's within you that you know that you are creating magic, it just happens just like that. I had 2 earpieces, and one was gray, silver gray, and one was black. And I lost the black one that I had. I couldn't find it, and I said, boy, I had to go to the store to get it. And this was about 2 months ago, and I had to get an upgrade with my phone, because that's another thing that's happening, is that so much things will start to break down around you, your phone, your computers, your TVs, stuff like that. Because as you accelerate and ascend within yourself, everything outside of you will also start to break down and build up back again, meaning that you may have to change it to facilitate the higher frequencies that you might be having. And that means that you're going to keep facing the shadow side to yourself. Okay. And it's going to continue. It's a process. It's an ongoing process. So anyway, so I lost the earpiece, and I said to myself that time, I said, I bet you I'm going to find it after I buy the next one again. So I bought the next one, and sure enough, 2 days later, I found it. So now fast forwarding about a few days ago, all of a sudden the silver one that I love just disappeared out of thin air. And I was like, oh my God, I don't understand this. I was like, where did it go to? I was like, you know what? I don't want to deal with this frustration. I said, let me just go back to the store, AT&T, and get another one again. So be it. I just let it go. So I went back to the store. And when I went in there, the first thing I said to her, because she said, how can I help you? Because she remembered me when I had to upgrade my phone. And I told her, I said, I lost my earpiece, but I had the old one that I kept just in case, but it kept on stop working. The person couldn't hear me, and I need to be able to drive with the earpiece, because they'll pull you over for not using the something that's hands-free. So she says to me, okay, I'll take care of you and everything like that. And I heard Spirit say, don't say anything about the other one that you lost. It use the one that you have for whatever you need to do. And sure enough, what ended up happening is that she replaced the one that I have, even though it had to do with the silver one I had before. But what happened is, she said to me, she says, you're sensitive, aren't you? And I said, sensitive? What do you mean by that? She says, oh, in my country, whenever you can see things, it means that you're very intuitive, like a prophet. And I was like, yes, I am. So she's remembered when I come into the store and I would start just revealing things to the guys that work in there. And so what ended up happening is that She replaced it without me paying any money for it because it went in like as if it was a warranty. But what happened is that she wanted a reading. She wanted a reading from me. And so whatever happened to me at that time happened where my earpiece just disappeared because Spirit was taking me to a place where someone was going to need me at that moment. And so it had to happen. So the reason I'm sharing that with you is because when I say that there may be things that may be happening in our lives now that is not normal, it's going to be supernatural. We're living now in a time where the earth is ascended and she's moving up even higher into the seventh dimension. And that means, and you heard that number 7 again, because everywhere I'm seeing 777s everywhere. 777, 717, 7171, 1717. You know, it's like even, not too long ago, my odometer was reading 1771 and it was 71 degrees outside. And so as we continue to accelerate with these frequencies and everything that's happening, things are not going to happen ordinarily. So even if something may be lost or something may be broken or something might be shifted or you might get kicked out or you might get, something lost or something taken away or, because remember, these are the labels we place on things, and be mindful of how you judge what is happening through you, not to you, because, we don't want to keep it stuck within ourselves. And that these things are happening to, I don't want to use the word test you, but these things are happening to facilitate what magic you're bringing into your world. You see, because this has to do with your outer world, the external world. Whatever is in the inner is going to reflect on the outer. And so that magic within me created to get another earpiece, as well as it shifted places with someone that also needed my help. And see, because we're heading back into a system where we're going to be really doing things differently on the earth. And it's starting to happen now. And that means that we're going to be letting go of old habits and what we're used to. And it might not be anything we're comfortable with, but it's in this uncomfortableness that we are going to be creating all of this magic. So I just wanted to share that with you, like I said. And whatever you do to pay attention to the signs, as I said before, and allow yourself to just move through the energies. And that includes even any symptoms that you might have, heart palpitations, feel like you don't want to eat certain foods and stuff like that. And there may be days when you might change one thing and go to another. You might not sleep the same way you do before. It doesn't mean that anything's wrong with you. This is a part of the ascension. This is a part of your journey. And so on that note, I will love you and leave you. And like I said before, if there's anyone that is of need of any type of reading or counseling, spiritual enlightenment, or anything that you may want to have an understanding of your path and journey, please feel free to contact me once again at the Garden of Eden 1111@gmail.com. I send you so much love and light and peacefulness. Namaste.